All right, welcome everybody to my YouTube channel and Pim's Lantern Cave, coming to you from top of the third floor of my man cave that's up here with all my lanterns. I want to welcome you for joining us again. Hope you enjoyed the first couple of videos. Today we're going to do a couple other videos for you. I'm going to take you on a tour because everybody loves seeing all the lanterns everybody has. I've been collecting for about 2 years. For me, the collecting is just about bringing these things back to life. It's really cool to be able to take a piece that's 100 years old that may have been forgotten about or left somewhere and clean it up and give it some new life and give it new parts. That's why I do it. It's very satisfying, and it's really cool to learn about the history. I have a modest collection, somewhere around 100 pieces, I would say. Obviously, there's collectors out there that have far more than I do, and there's some that are just starting out. So it's what you make it, it's how you do it. I try not to repeat models, except obviously the 200s. I try to catalog all their changes, and as well as the common 220 to 228s from the original A's all the way up through the K model. So you'll see those. I'll try to explain them, try to talk about them a little bit. If you're not familiar with Coleman's models, write really fast because I talk quick, and I apologize that I talk so fast. It comes from being an air traffic controller. What can I say? All right, so let's start with the tour. We'll start over here with the Wall of Fame, as I call it. Got a whole bunch of mixture of different things that I do up here. There's clocks and there's lanterns and all kinds of stuff. But we start over here with the 243A, made in 1940. Harder lantern to get. They actually sold this lantern at the time. It was an economy lantern. Went for a little bit less of a price. It was made with the mica chimney as opposed to glass, although you could get an optional glass at the time if you chose. That's a really cool lantern. It's the later model has the actual top nut on it, where the earlier models did not, and they actually were initialed the 243. So this is a 243A. Over here, I call this my Sears corner. It's got all my Sears lanterns that I've got. Got the two over here, the red and the blue. Now, if you guys know these numbers by heart, my hat's off to you. I can never remember what numbers they are. Sears made a lot of different numbers for their lanterns, and I can never remember them. So if you guys know these by heart, my hat's off to you. Next time I see you, I'll buy you a drink if you can tell me them all and get them right, because that would be very impressive. Small little blue Sears up here, and then its cousin is down here on the other side, the Avocado. That was one of the first lanterns I actually collected, was that one over there. Guy had it in his garage. That's a great little runner. And then, of course, the one everybody loves is the little blue Sears, the earlier singles. They're great. Big founts on those. They run forever. I got the big Vienna regulator here watching out for everybody. That's a different thing. We got a couple lanterns over here, new 286 in the box that I was able to pick up, although I may be letting this one go since I do have another one. I have an older one there, so that one had an idea for that, but I changed my mind, so we're gonna move that one along at some point. Got the 249 lantern. You all saw in the videos the other day the 242s. Well, this is the series of that. But this is a US 249, and the reason it's a 249 is it actually has the kerosene cup. So kind of the end of the run for the 240s in Coleman's line. This is a US 249. Really, really nice nickel on that. Going back down to the Sears, kind of forgot about this one down here. The later Sears with the avocado color with the frosted line globe on it. That is an original Sears globe. Sears, when Coleman was, when they contracted Coleman to make their lanterns, they insisted that Coleman not put any of their names, that they wanted it specifically for Sears. So if you find a Sears lantern that has a Coleman globe, most likely it's going to be a replacement. And you can see there's no Coleman that's anywhere on this. It just says Pyrex made in the U.S. But of course, we all know they were manufactured by Coleman. Sitting on top of a 425C model stove. I think this stove was only lit one time when I got it. A lot of people just buy them and they use them once and they sit in garages for years and never to be used again. Unfortunately, the guy who had this, when he brought it to me, had thrown the box away. Threw the box away the day that he got it. Didn't think I wanted it. I was heartbroken. But that's okay. It's still a great looker. It looks brand new. Sitting over here, we got the Gold Bond set. We'll talk about the Gold Bond lanterns and why they are called the Gold Bonds. Another video, we'll save that. I've got a 228H to represent the group with a 425 stove. Both are in working condition, and they're obviously have seen a couple of miles, but a lot of the Gold Bonds do for whatever reason. They usually are always, it's hard to find one in real good shape. I've seen them, but a lot of them always have a kind of a miles on them. They have a tale to tell. So we'll swing around over here. We'll buy the couch in the window. We'll swing back over here, down here on the floor. Got a couple of other lanterns that have been here. My wife was kind enough to gift the North Star to me. Y'all saw that the other night in the video when we did the comparison. North Star was my Father's Day present last year. A gentleman from up north in Georgia was kind enough to give these 2 lanterns to my children. And since they had 288s, they said, what are we going to do with this? So we decided to do a couple of customs. Lanterns are really, really cool. You can kind of take them and make them what you want if you really want to change them. Obviously, the vents you can't paint. Don't paint vents. They will not work. They're porcelain, and the paint will just bubble off. So can't change those. You gotta have the ability to kind of match with the colors. So my son's got his little Imperial lantern over here with Darth Vader on it, and there's an Imperial sticker on the back. And my daughter's got her Mustang, pink Mustang with the silver Mustang on it. So that's really cool. This lantern is the travel lantern. This actually doesn't belong to me. This belongs to the Coleman Collectors Forum. It's their traveling lantern, and it goes to collectors that go to the gatherings. This was presented to me, and the object is that you take it to places that you are involved in, and then you put it in a journal. There's a couple journals in there, and you catalog where you've been with it, and then eventually you pass it off to another collector. There's a 228F in there. Down on the floor here, we got some other stuff. It's a Duracamp Japanese lantern that was kind of a copy of the 200 lantern. You can see how they very similarly designed it. That's an original globe in there. I've heard those are not the easiest to find, so I was lucky enough to be able to hold on to that. It's in good shape. That's a custom lantern that I did. I'm a big New York Giants fan. I know, we're struggling. We're trying. We'll be back. But you gotta keep rooting, right? For all you sports fans out there, you gotta keep pulling for your team. Got a Prentice Jr. here that I was able to pick up a short while ago. It's pretty beat up. It's seen some miles, but it does work. All my lanterns that are up here in this man cave work. You pick any one you want, and you go outside and you can fire them up. Got a 228H that a friend of mine gave to me. He thought this lantern was cursed. It apparently fireballed on him, but I got it working, got it back to what it's doing, and it's operating nicely. Getting into the lamps, I don't have that many lamps. I got 4 or 5 of them. That's a 143 with a straight line globe on there. A couple of the propane ones, can't do without those. There's a 129 lantern. That shade is not original. I'm trying to find shades to make them look pretty close to what they were back in the day, but that's not an original shade. There's a 134 lamp over there, and then if we swing around real quick, we'll come back. There's a 152A with the original parchment shade. That has obviously seen better days, but it is original. That's up there. Then sitting over here in the corner, a couple of shiny ones. We got the 80 Express Petromax clone that's over here. That one happens to be one of the ones that they did right. It actually runs very, very well. A kerosene lantern. And then these two beauties over here, which are the burgundy lantern. We'll talk about the burgundy lantern and why it is the burg and why it's that funky color and how it happened. So if you want to know about the history of that, stay tuned. I'll give you that at some point. When we talk about the 200s, that's the 202 Professional. Was built as kind of a, I don't know, it's almost like the KitchenAid of Whirlpool, if you will. It's kind of a deluxe lantern that was made. It's got a lot of upgraded stuff on it, and it's a really pretty lantern, by the way. So we're going to do this in 2 parts. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this shelf here, and then we'll stop the video and we'll do a part 2 on this. So on the bottom here is the Christmas 200. You can see that it kind of looks a little blue. Apparently somebody took the liberty to paint it blue, and there is green under there. I just don't quite know how to get the blue off without taking the green off, and I really don't want to change it. So if anybody has any ideas of how to do that, I'm all ears. I'd love to know. Got the Coleman 201 here. It's an export lantern that Coleman exported. Runs on kerosene. I added the sticker to it because it was gone. It's seen some miles. That's a younger F lantern with the newer style frame. We'll talk about those. Coleman did some lanterns that were kind of transitional, so they kind of changed some things before they changed the actual model numbers. It's an unfired K. You saw that yesterday. There's the 242C. There's the youngest of the 200s, the 200 in the green. Coleman ran all the reds for a number of years, and then during the last segment, they did those in the early 80s. So that's the green 200. There's a Coleman Powerhouse, a mid-80s lantern back behind that one in a green color. I have one in green, one in black, and that is a 228C model. So that's the C down here with the yellow sticker, in between the B and the D, of course, with the big hat, 228. This lantern has got a special place in my heart. If any of you Back to the Future fans out there, if you remember when Marty McFly went back to the future, what month and year did he go back in? November of 1955. So that I call the Back to the Future lantern, because that's the year and month that that lantern was built. So obviously we know it was just a movie, but I think it's kind of cool. That's a 228E. That's a 220E. You can see how they're very similar. No stickers on the front. They're on the side. There's my birthday lantern in the back from 11 of 81. If you're looking for a birthday lantern, you want to find the lantern that's got your month and your year, and that's your birthday lantern. Transitional E, that's a Coleman E from 1963. You can see how it looks like the F, but the vents are not the same. And actually it's still an E model. You can see how Coleman kind of transitioned. There's the E, the transitional E, and then the F. So we'll talk about that. Got a 228F in the front and 220 in the back, and there's a J back here, which I refer to as the Turbo J. This lantern is inhabited by a demon. This thing is absolutely just one of the brightest common lanterns I've ever seen. I don't know what it is about that lantern, but it burns brighter than any other common I have in my group. Some more commons up here. 220H Seasons lantern I picked up at a gathering. You saw the 228J, the last of the 228 models, the 228J. They did not have an I. Coleman skipped the I for whatever reason and went straight to the K for the last run. And then this CLX was the first that they came with after they stopped the K. This is from 1984. And you can see the differences in the valves, the old style valve versus the Schrader valves. So now all lanterns that are made now in modern day are run on those Schrader valves. 639C, another kerosene model. Kerosene cup, keep that in mind. Great runner, super bright. Another kerosene model up here, the 214. One of my favorites. Love that lantern. That's a 286 single mantle. Not to be confused with its cousin, the 288. So the 288 is made for the US market. 286 is made for the Canadian market. Singles versus doubles. Why? I don't know. I like the singles better. It's just me. Got an adjustable 288, kind of a mid-80s model there, and then a CL1, which is also an early 286 with the red globe on it. Really nice red globe on that. The only one I have. They don't make those anymore, unfortunately. CL2, I have two of those. Yes, I do have two. The reason is one of them is my daughter's. And the 288s. One is my son's, one is mine. So that's going to end it for part one. We're going to go ahead and shift over to part two. Hope you'll join us on the next one. We'll see you in a few minutes.